All right. Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your engines!
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Remember what I told all my drivers? Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Drivers, start your engines!
And gentlemen, start your engine!
And welcome back to another episode of the Green White Checker Podcast. We have the Richmond Recap for you. We got a little bit of Cup news, a little Xfinity news, just some news overall. And let's get it started off here. We had a rain race, the first actual rain race.
Wet.
Joe found out they are wet tires, not rain.
Excuse me.
Joe got fried on Twitter.
Sorry, wet rain is wet, so forgive me.
Yes, we had a wet race, wet track with wet tires, Joe, and NASCAR made some weird calls on it. So, who wants to take this first? Joe, let's start with you. What did you think of the race?
The race overall, I mean, it was a Richmond race. You don't have, at least I don't have high expectations going into it, and the way the short track package has been with this car, it doesn't inspire any confidence either. And then the way they kind of handled the whole rain tires, wet weather tires, whatever you want to call them, was really weird. We want, when they said, all right, we're throwing a comp caution, everyone go to dry tires. You want them to make their own decision and have the teams. Is it dry enough to put the slicks on? Do you still want to have the wets? You want to have a little bit of that decision. But I think, was it Watkins Glen 1 or 2 years ago where they let them decide, and that was awesome. You had different strategies, and that was cool to see. I mean, I know it's an oval. I don't know how different. It's not really that different. You get to see more strats. So I don't know. It was a race. Wasn't that impressed, honestly. And we'll get into the. We'll get into these.
Sorry. I just wanted to add to your point, Joe. I want to let you keep going, but what I think is funny about your Watkins Glen point is I think Watkins Glen has more faster corners than Richmond does.
It does. Yeah, I was going to say, and we'll get into the officiating at the end of the race, but overall race, wasn't impressed.
Yeah, I think I went in with low expectations myself. I think I mentioned that last week, just going in as it's a Richmond race, and I'd say they were met the expectations. I don't think it was as boring as some other races that we've seen, especially at Richmond. I think the ending made up for some of that with that, excitement at the end, I guess. But overall, I thought it was mid,
Zach, what were your overall thoughts?
I mean, I think there was a lot of potential for some exciting moments, but it just seemed like NASCAR kept getting in the way of itself at every opportunity. I mean, you had the whole debacle with the wet weather tires, trying to figure out what they were doing. And I guess, we started on wets. Wets. I use the right term. We started on the wets. And then, like Joe said, they came in and said, all right, we're going to switch to dry. Well, one, you'd like to see them do that. Two, if you're going to mandate them, because the track still wasn't completely dry at that point anyway. Some of the offline stuff was still a little moist. So it's like, if you're going to mandate a tire, you think you would make them stay on the wets, because that's going to force them to chase the moisture and go in the areas where the track is still a little damp and dry the rest of it out. But I mean, going to slicks worked just fine. But just to Joe's point, you want to see the teams make that call on their own, and I guess NASCAR's concern is pit road and being slick and the drivers slipping around and stuff or not the drivers, I'm sorry, the pit crew members slipping or cars sliding through pit stalls and stuff like that. So it's okay, well, why don't we, instead of focusing on trying to get the track as dry as possible when we have a wet weather tire, why don't we take all that energy and put it on pit road and make sure pit road is as dry as possible, so you don't have that concern anymore? And other series do pit stops in the wet, and they seem to do okay. So I don't know why that's a huge issue for us, but whatever. Just seems like NASCAR is overly cautious with rain for some reason. I mean, I get it's new, but I don't know. Call somebody from IMSA and have them come over when you think you're going to have wet weather situations, because I mean, I'm sure they would be able to help you out, give you some guidance. Then the other issue was just like that weird caution for Kyle Busch in the second stage when we finally got to see some pit strategy getting ready to play out. Seeing that 2-stop versus, what was it, 1-stop or 2-stop strategy.
Yep.
And it was all going to come to a head. We're going to see what happened. Just Kyle Larson beat Martin Truex or whatever. And then we just get a bogus caution. Like, I'm a Kyle Busch fan. I don't want to see him go up and hit the wall and lose speed and all that, but that was not caution worthy. So
Yeah.
I don't know. And then the debacle at the end with the jumping restart. Like, I don't know. It just seemed like the biggest issue I had was just officiating. It just seemed like we kept stepping on our toes throughout the whole event.
I think that with the way they did rain, I would have rather seen them just finish drying the track for another 30 minutes or an hour and then run the race after it was dry rather than let them run on wets for a little bit. I mean, yeah, it was interesting. It made me like really want to tune into the start of that race. I mean, obviously I'm always going to want to tune in, but I was like, oh, I definitely cannot. I think the Duke NC State game was still going on. Had it been a dry start, I would have probably just kept the race on my phone and then kept the basketball game on my TV. But instead I flipped it because it's going to be a wet weather start. It's going to be interesting. But it's still like, I mean, it just made the rest of that first stage almost like moot because it's like, okay, now, red flag, everyone come get your dry, everyone get a tire change in or whatever. And it's just like, I'm like, what's the point of that? Like, I could see them using this if more rain was on the way in the next couple hours, then you need to get going as quickly as possible, squeeze it in there. I know then that like really minimizes the amount of time they use these wet weather tires. But I don't know. It took away a lot of that first stage for me, having those mandated stops and the non-live pit stops and everything. So I don't know. I wasn't a fan with how it was done.
Yeah, and then how many laps did we spend under caution under that too? I mean, there was
17.
Yeah,
like, it was nuts. It was just to Drake's point, like, and I think I've seen other stuff like on Twitter and in various podcasts, like what with the time delay that you spent trying to dry pit road and get that situation all sorted out, like, did you really gain anything by starting on the wet weather tires? Like, if we're going to do this wet weather tire thing, then let's do it and let's do the race and just let the race evolve as it evolves. Just let it go naturally. Don't try to stop and protect everybody. Like, I don't know. I get they want to err on the side of caution, but I think they're being a little too cautious. I mean, to Joe's point, talking about Watkins Glen, we did wet weather stuff there. They did pit stops there. Everybody was fine. And I believe, didn't we do that at Coda one year too when they had the Coda rainstorm?
Yep.
Because when they like started in wet condition and just let the teams go and do whatever they wanted after that.
I believe they had the first one was a comp caution type deal, and then after that, yeah.
Because I remember,
but I mean that was a wet race. Like there was no
dry.
It was one of Austin Cindric's first starts. The reason why I remember this is it was one of his first starts, and he was like staying out on slicks a lot longer than everybody else because they had the choice to put on the wet tires. And
that might have been Xfinity that year, I thought.
No, that was Cup.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought Cup was a washout.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's a start. It turned into one eventually, but I don't think at the start was. I have to go back and check it out to be sure. But I'm pretty sure it was Austin Cindric's first Coda start in 2021 or whatever that year was. But anyway, yeah, it just seemed like a bit of a debacle. And I agree with Drake. If you're not going to just let them rip and call the race and let it go, then what's the point of it all?
I mean, do we think we would see that in the, like if we're able to get more reps in on these wet weather tires? I do think the extreme caution is just the uncertainty and like these teams never having really run these much before. And like if we keep getting reps under them under like a few years to keep doing this, do you think they would then be like, all right, they kind of got it figured out. Like we've had enough practice on these. Let's let it rip and then make it, switch over to live pit stops and teams pick what tire or whatever. Do you think this is their plan in the long term to keep it just like this?
I would hope so. Otherwise, what's the point?
Well, Colton Sawyer did say on, I think it was the Xfinity show, or not the Xfinity, the XM show, that they are planning on, allowing the drivers and pit crews to make that decision. Whereas we are still, this is our first, points race on an oval that they kind of wanted to do it safely this time.
Right.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they did say they wanted to move to where it would be live. They make the decision, all that. I don't believe him just
No,
because
I don't.
we've done this before and it's not, none of the fans like it. It's just NASCAR's playing it safe. I get it. The cars cost a lot. Teams are going to be pissed if they wreck them, but it is what it is at this point, right?
But I mean,
But
you say that at the same time, like what were we doing at Bristol 2 weeks ago? Like tires were popping. We were like,
Yeah.
it was all a mess. And I don't know. It's just it doesn't have to be that scary. We're at short tracks. Our
Right.
corner speeds aren't that high. It's very comparable to a road course. I don't know. It's just.
Well,
I guess Drake's probably right. They probably need more data points to get more comfortable. Dip your toe in and slowly work into it. I just hope, if and when the next time this happens, we can kind of be a little more, just let it go kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I believe it. They're sorry, Joe. You got it.
I was but they feel like they test once or twice a year on. I mean, I know testing's not race situation, but I feel like they've tested this wet weather stuff 500 times. So you should have some sort of idea of what it's going to do when it goes from wet to dry and what to, I don't know. I mean, I know it's 3 cars, it's a test, it's not a race, but I feel like I always hear, oh, they're testing wet weather at Martinsville or Richmond. They should have enough to let them do their thing.
I think NASCAR is enough. I don't know if the teams do. And I think that's where NASCAR is being cautious, like not disagreeing with you, but at the same time, it's like, again, like you even said, it's 3 cars. You're not having a whole pit lane full of people. You're not having guys jumping, guys, every single driver learning how to stop in their pit stall on a wet pit stop. So then you have guys running in front of these cars who are now at greater risk because of that. You have the drivers, the teams, no one, unless you've been there at those sessions and figured it out, then it's you don't have anything to go off of, and so I think that's NASCAR's main thing. But at a certain point, it's never going to be perfect. It's never obviously going to be perfectly safe. Jumping in front of a car on dry weather is not safe. Guys get hit all the time. So it's like, at what point, like, all right, these teams have enough practice. Like, is there like, if they're like, all right, if we have 2 more races with wet tires, then we're good? Or is it a year thing? I feel like they need to have some kind of firm metric in mind to say, all right, these teams are now ready to do this. Unless, not just go off feeling, say, all right, we need 5 races, wet weather tires, then we'll let them go live or whatever. But I don't think testing's enough. In NASCAR's favor, I don't think testing's enough to have these teams ready to go on wet weather for that fully.
What if we do something like have a whenever wet weather conditions are called, you have a wet weather pit road speed limit. So there's like a cut speed limit in half or something. I think like that.
You'd have to go pace speed too. Like if we're talking about caution pit stops, I think you'd have to have pace speed knocked down. Otherwise, you can really screw up with the rhythm of pit stops, because then it's like, oh, well, now pit speed's cut in half. So now, unless you have a perfect stop, you're getting lapped under caution. I think, but then you have green flag. It's like, I think I agree with that. I think of wet weather pit speed would mitigate a lot of these issues, but at the same time, how much is that really going to throw off the race if you're under green flag pit stop?
That's a new dynamic.
Yeah.
Gives something. I mean, you want to talk about like, how long pit stops take and all that, go to Atlanta where they have the pit lane starting all the way back in turn 3, green flag pit stops, you go down 2 laps. That's why they didn't want to call William Byron and McDowell wrecking, because it was in the middle of green flag pit stops and would have jacked everything up. So, I think I get that it would kind of add, like, it would create issues where people are going multiple laps down, maybe more so than they would normally. But, if NASCAR can use some common sense caution calling, and like they kind of have been in some situations, like at Bristol, where they weren't calling a caution for everybody just blowing a tire, they sort of let them try to figure out, don't be so quick on that caution button, which I think they have been for the most part. It was just, the Kyle Busch thing. I think the Haley Deegan thing, a couple of Xfinity events where they just throw it like that. If we can get away from that and let them kind of sit a little far back from that caution button, I don't think it'd be too bad. I mean, you cut the speed. I mean, what's pit road speed now at Richmond? Like 40 miles an hour. So cut it down to 20, maybe even not that far, but
just 30.
Yeah. I mean, just like reduce it. And to the Atlanta point, we run 2 pit road speeds at Atlanta, so we can certainly program the cars to have a wet weather pit road speed and a dry weather pit road speed for whenever that would change. And NASCAR would just, change that condition. All right, next pit stop, green condition or dry conditions. You can go normal pit road speed. That's just something I was thinking about.
Kind of to what you guys are talking about here. We've all been to races, and what are the pit crews doing while the race is going on? They're prepping their pit stall. They're cleaning it. They're putting new grip stuff down. You can't tell me those guys weren't out there drying their pit stalls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there might have been some
blowers already because they blow the debris.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I don't really buy the whole pit roads wet type deal. Their stalls are dry. I can guarantee you their stalls are dry. Were the lanes dry? No, but guess what? You're gonna have grip once you get into your stall. So
yeah,
I mean, I don't know about fully dry because that's a lot for a little electric blower to fully dry those stalls, but they're dry. I mean, to your point, they're definitely.
They're out there with squeegees, I'm sure. I don't know.
And I
feel like if we got to that point or we did live pit stops, I'm sure these teams will start bringing some kind of heated blower, something that's going to really dry their stall a little bbit better.
And I think that goes into all right, we're recognizing we already know we're not doing rain races, right? This is it's a wet weather. So that tells me that the track's not continuing to get wet. So instead of, like I said, prepping the track to a certain degree, we focus on pit lane, get pit lane as dry as we reasonably can with the jet dryers, and then have a pit road speed limit reduction, and then we should be good. I think that eliminates any reasonable safety concerns.
Yeah, 100%.
We'll get there.
We got to figure it out. Elton Sawyer, give us a call. I know you're listening.
We've established this before. We're never wrong, so I don't know why NASCAR's in. Honestly,
we got it all figured out.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, there's the NASCAR fan council. They can just do away with that.
Right here,
us right here. This is what they need to listen to, and we'll be set. But
got it.
I mean, and the other thing with the whole pit stops and that is we're on a softer tire that's going to grip a little bit more. Especially, if it was slick tires and you're going into a wet pit road, I get it. But this tire is meant to drive on that, right? Mm-hmm. And it is softer. We saw better racing because it's softer. Guys could try different lanes and stuff. So, again, I don't buy it. But I think in the future, it will change. We will see possibly wet pit stops, not comp caution crap. But I don't know. I didn't like we went 30 laps on wet tires. Then we do 17 laps of pacing until we go back to slicks. At this point, though, we need to allow the drivers and teams to say, this is when I want to switch to slicks, and they make the call.
Yeah, because, there's a great pit call to be made there. Do you risk it?
Yeah.
Go out early on slicks and gain a shitload of time. It's just excitement.
Some of the best F1 races, that's what it's been, right? Mm-hmm. You got a guy that's going out where there's barely a dry lane, and he's going out on slicks 2-3 laps before somebody else running 10 seconds faster, right? Mm-hmm. But it's, I don't know, NASCAR, they'll get it figured out. It's still early. This is our third year of trying this wet stuff, and
our first time on an oval. Is it how many times have we actually used this tire? Coda,
Glenn.
Is this a different tire than Coda? Do they use a different wet weather tire?
Probably, but I'm just talking wet weather in general. But I'm sure it's a different compound.
You just maybe had a thought though. I'm curious. I want to know that.
You'd think it'd have to be. They have different compounds for every track.
Compound different, sure, but is it a different tread? Do you think?
I feel like it is just because. Yeah. That was a rain build back then, right? Mm-hmm. That was our first ever race, but I'm sure it was a more aggressive rain tire then. I could be wrong. I don't know.
It's still, but like you're saying, it's still very early in us having this tire, and long way to go. But if they're planning on, developing it and making it live, then I'm all for it. Let them get their reps in under extra caution.
Mm-hmm.
Xfinity had Portland, I think it was rain too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So. Xfinity and trucks have had a
little bit more.
Wet weather situations. I remember Mid-Ohio for trucks was raining. I think there was an Xfinity race the Glen that rained, and even Road America maybe. So we're getting there. It is still new for us, especially on the oval side. So I don't know. Maybe they just need some data points, build some confidence. I guess if I'm NASCAR, the last thing I want is some poor crew guy getting his leg broken because I said we could do everything live and go and just go right into it. So
that'd weigh on my shoulders personally as a member of this podcast, and us making that call, I'd feel very guilty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just imagine if they did do live pit stops this last weekend at Richmond and somebody did get injured. We'd be shitting all over NASCAR for
We
allowing it
would.
to happen.
For sure.
So it's a win or lose, I guess, for NASCAR, right? You know, we're gonna bitch about the caution, or we're gonna bitch about possibly somebody getting hurt.
In true NASCAR fan fashion.
Yeah.
Right there, yeah.
Well, it's the same thing with Goodyear. We want tire wear, then Bristol started happening. People were like, Goodyear can't make a fucking tire.
Yeah,
Same
right.
thing. So
There's like major underground fires in the downtown here. Sorry.
uh-oh.
Oh,
Just saw a video of it. It's just like flames shooting out of manhole covers. It looks awesome.
Good grief.
kind of sick.
Andrew's neighborhood's about to blow up.
And
Yeah.
it's been raining all day, and then we had a blizzard, and now the ground is on fire.
What the
Uh,
hell?
Welcome to the
All
Midwest.
depressing.
All 3 seasons in one day.
Yeah. But okay, back to the race. So obviously we had that whole debacle. Stage 2, like Zach pointed out, we had a long green flag run. We thought we were going to have this pit stop strategy between, 1 stop, 2 stop. And then Kyle Busch gets out of the groove, taps the wall,
Dude,
caution.
what the heck was that?
That is one of the worst cautions I've ever seen.
So crazy.
Like, that was
pretty
so bad.
I've watched that. I kind of missed when it happened, and I look back and I was like, "That wait, surely that something else happened that caused that caution." But that goes back to our discussion a few weeks ago. Whenever, when like Denny, like what race was it? Whenever like they wrecked McDowell and Byron wrecked
Atlanta.
and-
Atlanta.
yeah, and then Denny had
Yep.
spun through the infield, and we had a discussion of what
Yep.
constitutes a caution. I mean, there's no one can make an argument that constituted a caution. There, no one was anywhere near in danger. There's no debris on the track at all. Like, what are we doing? Why is that a caution?
Mm-hmm.
And it hurt
Okay.
people's races. I
Yeah.
mean, there had been guys that had pit already and that weren't back on the lead lap. Bowman was one of them. He was one of the quickest cars out there, and
Yeah.
he was done after that. And there was a couple other guys, and it's just like, come on, NASCAR, you can't be doing this. And we've seen it time and time again. And even after Atlanta, they're like, yeah, we're not going to throw cautions during, pit stops and stuff like that. What are we doing? Like, you just did.
Yeah.
It ruined people's races.
Yep.
There's no reason. No reason. Like, I
and I
don't know
get-
if this, like,
Yeah.
did they want to restart? They're like, this is kind of boring. Restart. Right.
And I totally
don't know.
get what am I trying to say? The cautions where it's like this could turn into something big, like with Denny's spin in Atlanta. I'm like, okay, he could turn it back in the track. We need to get these cars slowed down in case that happens. No one was in danger at any point.
No.
Yeah.
There's no risk of him turning down on anybody, no risk of him even getting loose up there. Just complete. I want to know who someone just had an itchy trigger finger to call that caution. Just horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, it would just talk about past races, like we were talking about Bristol, how they weren't calling cautions. Like, I mean, Carson Hocevar was going all 4 miles an hour on the front stretch or back stretch, wherever he was, and they didn't call a caution. He was trying to get them to call a caution, and he was putzing around there, and they wouldn't do it. So, I mean, you got a car all but stopped at Bristol, and that's not a caution, but Kyle Busch just sort of washes up and grazes the wall, and that is a caution? Like, come on now.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I don't even think he damaged his car. It was just, I mean,
He
he
had
still
some
had a
right
good day,
side.
didn't he?
He had right side scrapes. I don't know. I don't think he did. They
No?
were bad all day, though. Like, that did not ruin his day. It was already fucked to begin with.
Did that we were back in the Gen 6, thought it was going to be a tire rub and a cut tire after that.
Yeah. Even then, though, it shouldn't have been a caution.
Never.
So that was pretty much it at that stage. Martin Truex kind of dominated this race, right?
Mhm. He
So
sure
we go
did.
to stage 3.
Kyle finished 20th, by the
And
way. Just put a bow on that. 20th.
could be worse, but
It-
yeah, so not
it-
great.
The wall didn't ruin his day. They were fucked all day.
No.
So.
Yeah. So we go to stage 3, another long run. We have pit stops, right? Green flag pit stops. Truex, Larson both pit at the same time. Truex is leading. They go to leave pit road, and Larson does a dirty move. I don't know if any of you guys caught this. He
No,
goes,
because Fox doesn't show it.
Nope.
yeah, they didn't. They didn't. Yeah, that's right. Like, they started to show him leave the pit stall, and they cut away from the race for the lead on pit road.
Yeah.
to show I don't even
Yeah.
remember what.
Come into shot.
And then
Like, oh, something's gonna happen. You
Yeah.
fucking idiot.
yeah. And then they show Larson leading on the back stretch with Truex behind him. And it's just
Yep. Like, oh, look at that.
yeah.
Good
And
grief.
God, they suck.
they
I
did
don't
go
spend
show
too
the
much time
replay,
harping
though.
on them again, but this was a
Bad
A
week for them.
plus horrible Fox broadcast this week. Like next
terrible.
level bad this week.
And it's always magnified at races that don't carry them. They need the
Yeah.
race to carry their
Mhm.
shitty broadcast. You go to Atlanta, great race. You don't really notice how bad the broadcast is. You go to Daytona, that was a good race. Don't really notice. But you go to like a Phoenix or Richmond where it's like, okay, we're really leaning on the broadcast to tell a good story here. And it's just like, oh my God, you
Yeah.
guys are awful.
Horrible.
Yeah.
I think my
Yeah.
3 highlights were that the race off pit road, them cutting to yet another segment of the Kevin Harvick
Kevin
podcast.
Harvick
Oh,
podcast.
Full
I'm
yeah.
not
screen.
listening because of that. Specifically
Nope.
because they
Oh,
do that. I'm not
completely
listening.
out of spite. I'm not listening. I don't need a full screen clip of this podcast. Maybe if you put our podcast on there, sure.
Sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
Yeah.
Who's Kevin Harvick anyway? You're
I
gonna
don't
put
know.
his podcast full
Yeah.
screen, just like horrible. And then obviously the zoomed in shot of the field coming to the green.
That was
That is
awful. The final
just
restart.
like what? We don't need to see this. Like,
Green,
like,
white,
thanks for
checkered
showing us more.
start.
Just they heard us complaining that they only show the leaders, and then they were like, you know what? We're gonna show anything but the
Let the
leaders
whole
on this
field go by.
on this very crucial restart where Denny Hamlin jumps the start. We'll get to that in a little bit, I'm sure. But you know, we won't even show that. We're just gonna show the entire field. Well, it's either that or a child. That's what they love to show whenever they.
Oh, there was a child in the booth this week too.
Was there really?
Yeah, they had Kevin Harvick in there.
Oh,
I
that's
didn't
right.
know. Never mind. That joke's in poor taste. Keep going.
So
I'll tell y'all after. I'll tell y'all off air. Let's
All right, I'm looking forward to it.
just because we're on it real quick, I was thinking about the whole Fox broadcast and how they don't listen to fans. They're not showing bumper cams anymore.
I didn't.
Oh,
When
Like,
was
yeah.
the last time you saw a bumper
That's actually a
cam?
good point. Yeah.
I didn't notice
Yeah.
this last week. Yeah.
Well, now I'm gonna have to
Like-
actually pay attention and see a bumper cam.
Yeah, that's what it used to be. It was
Say,
bumper
Andrew, you're
cams
fucking wrong in
zoomed
our
in.
Discord.
Yeah, and I mean they're still not showing the rest of the field, right? It's just the leaders.
They aren't listening
or,
to
you know.
fans. They're listening to Dale Jr. because Dale Jr. tweeted out. I forget what race he was watching, but he tweeted out something about, I don't need all these zoomed in shots.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That got their attention.
Yeah, that was last week at Coda.
I thought it was Atlanta. He said.
Yeah, it was Atlanta. It was the
Was
Was it Atlanta?
Yeah,
It was
he
right
mentioned he
before
wanted to be
he-
able to see like runs building and all that stuff, and they were just showing
Oh.
like the front two cars. And you couldn't see it.
I think he did it
Yeah.
again last week where he pointed out
I
like
don't
a
know.
Ty Gibbs shot where it was just like the window net, and it was like,
Yeah.
what is this shot?
Why?
don't know if that
why
was
did
Dale
it was
Jr.,
at
but
Coda. It was
I
like,
Was
did
that
see
not
that.
him?
I don't think it was, but that did happen.
Oh, okay.
I just don't
how
think
does
it
this
was
Yeah.
benefit us at all? Who needs to see this?
Yeah.
But
Anyway, back to what you were actually saying.
well, hold on. So the bumper cams, they're gone, right? Haven't
Mhm.
seen those, but we haven't seen the visor cams. We're not seeing the in-car cams. We're not
Whatever
seeing
happened
like
to that visor cam? That was one
I
of the
don't-
cool shots.
Wasn't that
wonder if
more
that's the
NBC's
team.
thing?
Huh? No,
Might
that
have
was,
I
been.
don't know.
it was both. They both
It
did
was,
it.
it was,
Oh.
yeah. I think it was Fox because they were the ones that pointed out why it was blurred, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I'm like, maybe it's the teams are like they don't want people seeing that, but they have the SMT data. Like,
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
shit? Yeah,
They're like, oh,
But-
the RPMs matter. Shut up.
yeah.
I mean, maybe it does.
I mean-
It's probably important. But me as the fan, I don't care. That was one of the few cameras they added that actually was like, oh, that's pretty sweet. Like, I mean, remember Bubba Wallace going under Joey Logano? They had the helmet cam
Yeah.
on for him.
Yeah.
He went under
Yep.
Joey at Talladega. That was an
Cool.
awesome shot.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't
Remember the
mind those
gyro
shots.
cam?
Like I don't mind to get like I don't mind the little artistic shots like that. Like it's cool to see. It's just when that's everything we're seeing, where there's an intense battle for the lead and they're showing us the bumper cam. That's when it's a problem because then
Yeah.
you're not actually seeing the action. Like I don't need an
Right.
artistic shot when we're actually something important's happening. Give me the artistic shots whenever the field's strung out, single file throughout the whole thing. Like give me those shots then.
You know what
But
they used to do with those? They used to use those when they came back from commercial break, and they would have like they would have a shot on in the background. It'd be like a slow mo of like your artistic shot while they're
Mm.
saying this race is brought to you by blah blah blah. And,
Right.
and
Oh,
they would
yeah.
show advertisers.
little
That's when
B-roll.
they used to use those. Yeah.
Oh.
And now it's just like, we're gonna throw them in the middle of the broadcast because
Yep.
fuck you guys.
But
And here's more
gyro
Kevin
cam?
Harvick and Clint Boyer clips.
Yeah.
The gyro cam's cool.
Gyro cam is
I
Banking and
haven't seen that in a long time.
yeah,
but
in a minute. I feel like they saved that mainly for like a Daytona and Talladega.
Yeah.
Like these
Oh,
tracks that
100%.
have Big banking.
check out all 12 degrees here at New Hampshire or whatever.
Yeah. Ooh.
Actually, that's a lot. I don't think. What's New Hampshire?
Yeah, it's like 6 degrees or something. Yeah. I've been in the NASCAR Hall of Fame enough. I should know this. I've walked on it before, so.
Oh, Fortnite voice is coming out.
So we were
I
talking.
walked on it before, so shut the fuck up. My dad's a Woodaway built Brian Fans, so he can Woodaway get this podcast banned right now.
All right.
Anyway, I'm done.
So before we started shitting on Fox,
Yes.
we were talking about the pit stops where Larson came out. I thought it was shady. He drove all the way across the track or pit lane and kind of blocked Truex.
I liked it, man.
I mean,
Is there a rule against that?
there isn't, but I don't know. That's
Here's the
I liked it, man. I kind of like that move. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not a Larson fan, but I don't necessarily hate him either. But I mean, I'm like, that's elbows out racing. That's doing what it takes to get ahead. Like, I like that move, honestly.
yeah. I mean, they know that they can't pass on track, right? So that could be the race for the win. And actually, I don't know if you guys saw Gluck's like, oh, that's the pass for the win right there. And then 2 minutes later, never mind.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I just don't want people getting mad when Denny uses up Larson. Like, I mean, that's what I have a problem with. Like, Larson will use people up all day. He does that stuff all the time, which is fine. Like Drake said, it's elbows out racing. As long as you're not actually wrecking the guy, it's all good. Just don't get mad when the favor gets returned.
But yeah, so there was that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Truex ends up passing him, lap or two later. Just
It didn't
kind of
take
dive bombs him. Yeah. Like I was surprised. I was like, oh shit, okay. And then it was back to Truex dominating until with 2 to go, actually about 1.5 to go. Larson exits turns 4, gets a little loose, moves up in front of Bubba, and Bubba turns Larson. Brings out the caution. Obviously, with 2 to go, you're going to get green, white checker. But because we already talked about it, should that have been a caution? Was anybody in danger?
Point. I didn't even think of that.
I mean, I don't know. It depends when they called it. It looked like he could have gone in and hit the wall. He was very.
He did end up hitting the inside wall a little bit. Like he nicked it.
I don't think so.
I thought I showed a replay. He hit the pit wall.
He just saved it. He was very close.
Okay.
I think they said he lost 3 positions.
I think that's a caution. I mean, you have a car spinning, like a car spinning out and going into the infield like that. I believe warrants a caution. A car going up and grazing the wall and carrying. I think the big thing is, are they keeping momentum or not? Busch kept momentum. He kept going. He was fine. Kyle Larson did not. Now I say that until a circumstance comes up where I have to change my opinion.
Until it happens to Christopher Bell, and then
in iRacing, that's not a caution, so
it's true.
Speaking of Christopher Bell, Jesus, fucking getting a speeding penalty. Oh, so
Have you tried?
Hell, the comeback though. At a track that you can't pass that. I know, right? I don't know if they tried doing that yet. But yeah, I'm fine with that being a caution. Andrew's not, because he lost money on it.
I won money on it, so I was happy with that caution. I had Denny and Larson and Gibbs as separate bets to win, and I thought I was looking good, and then it looked real bad for a long time there, and then the caution came out and looked real good again. I got that Denny money, so I'm happy with that. I'm definitely caution every time. Never.
I had a Tuesday bet, Truex to win plus 850. Great bet because he was at like plus 450 at the start of the race. So 850. I had Truex top Toyota plus 500, and I had Bubba Wallace top 10.
Whoops.
Awesome with 2 to go. And then
not awesome.
The caution comes out. I hit nothing. Like absolutely nothing. I lost hundreds of dollars. Like fuck me.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had
in DFS, I had another good I had like $4 to $20, right? Good run there. Yeah, that's out. I didn't get shit there either. Oh man, I was
not doing well.
Damn it. The best part is like the start of stage 3. I put in, and one of my betting discords is like, watch, it's gonna be a green white checker. I'm gonna lose everything. Sure as fuck. But
bingo.
Yeah, so caution comes out with Larson spinning out, and we have piss ups, right? Denny Hamlin's pit crew had a heater. I forgot what it was, like 8.3 or something like that.
I think it was a 9.3.
9.3?
I
Okay.
think so.
It was a good stop. That's all I know. And he got out first. And
I think I saw something somewhere on Twitter, which might add a little more frustration to Martin Truex. I believe that's Martin's old pit crew.
It is. I did hear that.
So that's even sort of.
Apparently, Martin didn't want them.
Oh,
This was
might
it
want
was
them back
his
now.
crew like
Yeah, I was
2
gonna
years
say once
ago.
now.
Yeah.
Didn't Martin Truex's old spotter go spot for Michael McDowell
Yeah.
the year McDowell won?
Well, no, that was the
Dang
year
right he
Truex
did.
said something about he's like, I want to win a plate race, and then
He
his
got rid of
spotter
it.
went to McDowell, and then immediately won the 500.
So basically, if
Nice.
Martin Truex says he doesn't want you anymore, you are in for some awesome performances later.
You're feeling good.
Just think
Have
if
a
they double
grand
down and come on our podcast.
Can
We're
he
definitely winning then.
Can
Yeah,
he
really.
tell me I'm not good anymore for him?
I can do it for him.
him.
So Denny Hamlin gets off first. Obviously, he's going to lead us to the green flag. What are you guys' thoughts? Did Denny go early, Joe?
Yes. I
Yes.
think it's a question.
So and here's the thing with it.
No. Yes, no.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay. Yes, and then I'll explain later.
Austin,
Obviously.
did he go early? Zach.
No, because NASCAR didn't call it.
You call it. Shut up.
All right, Joe, go ahead.
Wait, Andrew, what did you say?
I was actually 100%.
I think everybody.
I
Joe
think
did.
so. You have a restart zone. You have the lines on the track, and then the Geico blue paint. If he went very clearly went before like a car length or half a car length before. It's simple. It's did he go before or did he not? It doesn't. And I know I think it was Elton Swear came out. He's like, maybe if that was lap 20, we call it differently, which is total crap. Like you have to officiate the race or the game the same way you do in the first minute, the first lap to lap 400, right? You're going to call a defensive pass interference. Well, we know how the NFL is, but like you would think they would call that
In a perfect world.
In a perfect world, yes. And obviously we had the Saints NFC Championship game, but they're the Saints. Well, they're the Saints and they can suck it, so I don't really care about that. But still, like objectively, yes, like they totally blew that call. But it's black or white. Did he go or did he not? He went.
Yep.
Next.
So,
Yeah.
Zach, what do you think?
About what? Did he get? I mean, I said he went early.
But
But I don't
think it's okay.
I don't know, man, because it's tough, right? Like, because the one angle I saw from it was a NASCAR tweet. It was Letarte and I always forget the guy's name.
Yeah.
Joey
Todd
Dole.
Gordon.
Yeah.
Todd Gordon. That's it. I guess they work for NASCAR and do like certain analysis of different events. But anyway, they were looking at the restart, and you can see Joey like 2 or 3 cars back.
Yeah.
Coming out of 4, like trying to build a run. Now, I don't think it would have amounted to anything because I think Joey timed it wrong. It's like he was trying to time it so he would get a run on Denny in the restart zone.
But he got to his bumper like right before Denny went, so well before the restart then.
So I heard a clip of Denny talking about it, and he says he wasn't even looking forward. He's looking at Martin and Joey in his rear view, trying to see where they are. And I do believe that because I think what he was doing is he was waiting for Joey to come up to him and stall out, and then he's going, which is what you see. It just so happens Joey mistimed it. So that made Denny mistime it, and he went early. So I don't know, man. If you're going to let the second row sort of play games like that, I kind of like, I don't know. I feel like the leader should have an advantage and shouldn't be able to get jumped like that. So I don't know. It's a hard thing to fix. It's a hard thing to police, but there's got to be a better way to do it. I don't know what it is though.
Yeah, I mean, if people are sitting back and trying to get a jump, NASCAR needs to call that too. If we're going to call,
100%.
going early,
Right?
So, yeah, I mean, Logano and Larson were both sitting about a car and a half behind, and they both went a little earlier than they should have. And I don't think it would have mattered in this case, but yeah, I mean, the leader's got to do what he's got to do, and Denny did what he had to do to win that race. If he let Truex start to roll a little bit more because you can watch the in car that they have. You see Truex starting to inch forward. So he's going to do that until he's got the momentum, right?
Right.
Denny did what he needed to do. He gets, the lead going out at 2, which kind of used Truex up a little bit, but
I don't think
it wasn't
unreasonable, though.
egregious. Yeah,
No.
it wasn't egregious.
It's like racing for the win.
Yeah. And
Yeah, that was fine.
yeah, so it's a race. You got to win, right? That's what you're there for. And Denny did what he needed to do. And, I didn't like it, obviously, but he won the race. And yeah, he did jump the start a car length early. If watching that live at speed, I wouldn't have seen that. The only reason I did see it was because they showed it in slow-mo, right? And I was like, oh man, he went really early. No, he didn't. Watching a regular replay, we didn't see it, but
we didn't see it live time, so
No, we didn't.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm okay with it. It's if you're going to tell one guy he's got to start in a certain area, you can't have other people behind him starting early to get a run on him.
Right. That's my problem. If we're going to get Denny for jumping, then I think you have to do something to the other guys that were trying to build this giant run. Because if Joey does time that right and Denny goes at the line, he's getting jumped and Joey's jumped down underneath him going into turn 1. It's like, that shouldn't happen. You're the leader. You've earned the advantage. You are controlling the restart. And Joey, saw Joey playing victim on whatever that radio show he does. Oh, Denny did this and then jumped it, blah, blah. You were playing games too. Shut the hell up. You're clearly gaming the system. Quit acting all innocent. So I don't know. And do we, I guess the question is, what do we want NASCAR to do, right? Do we want them to kind of say, the lines are reference?
Right.
That's basically what they said with this. The line was a reference point. Denny went when he felt like it was advantageous for him to go, which I gotta be honest, I don't hate. It then becomes something like, where's the rules start and stop? But I like the leader having the control to start the race when it's most advantageous to him.
So I'll tell you what's going to happen this week. They're going to go to Martinsville.
You're getting fucking
They're
burned.
going to go to Martinsville, and they're going to have the drivers meeting, and NASCAR's going to say, okay, here's your restart zone. That is your restart zone. That is when the leader goes. You do not go earlier. But we're going to be watching everybody else to make sure they do not jump.
If they do that, I'm totally okay with it. As long as they're policing the other rows, totally fine.
Yeah, that's what it needs to be. And I think NASCAR is smart enough to do that starting this week, right? Like I said, it'll be in the drivers meeting. They won't announce it really anywhere else. Maybe, Gluck or Bob will post it on Twitter, like, oh, they did this, but we won't hear about it, right? We never really do. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Denny did what he needed to do, and that's pretty much the bottom line in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't like them saying it would have been different on different laps. I get it.
Yeah,
I do get it. It's a very different call calling on a call, lap 30 than it is the last 2 laps. You're going from, okay, someone, kind of messing up a little bit, whatever, versus potentially completely ruining someone's race. You can just redo the restart. It's not ruining someone's race. But it is I understand. I understand that mindset of, it's the same thing of, I say this in soccer all the time where refs are scared to make a call. It's like stoppage time, it's a tied up big game and someone does a foul within the 18 and the ref's terrified to call a PK because that is a 1000% game altering call. But at the same time, by not calling that, you're not officiating the game the same way the whole time. And you're actually robbing the team that was fouled of their rightful PK. And so, and in a way, you're also making a game altering call by not calling that. So as much as it's a game altering call for Denny if they were to call that, it's as much as a game altering call for Martin and for Larson and for everyone else behind them to not call that. And so I don't know. I think that, again, I get the mindset, but I don't like that they openly admitted, hey, this would have been different on different laps. All right. I get it, but also that's not really,
you can't really say
correct.
That.
Yeah,
you can't really
you can't say that.
Yeah, you don't say that. It's make a game or a race altering call if it's the right call. because you're either screwing over the guy in the lead by calling it, or everyone else behind him by not calling it.
I think ultimately it's like back to the sports ball reference. Like in basketball and football, maybe they'll call a ticky-tack holding on an offensive lineman early in the game, but they're not going to call it late unless it's blatantly obvious.
Right.
Is kind of what it comes down to. Same thing in basketball. Unless you spear tackle a guy, they're not going to call a foul. Which, all right, that's fair. You don't want a ticky-tack thing ruining a game or a race, but if it's pretty obvious, you got to call it. And I thought Denny's was pretty obvious, but I know there's some nuance with Joey and Kyle playing games. But
I mean, what I've seen too is like a lot of like I've seen it in dirt tracks and I think the car store I saw it. They did it once when I was watching that race the other week, where if they think that the restart looks funky, they throw the yellow immediately and do a redo, and they'll give out warnings. I like that, a warning system. Like, hey,
they do that Hickory.
Quit messing around. Do it again.
They'll run it back, and then if it happens like 2 or 3 times, then they'll send that guy to the back or something like that. Like,
I mean, if you see a restart, I mean, they're doing it at tracks that run 13, 14-second laps. So I think we could figure it out at Richmond. Like, wait, that restart didn't look good. Do it again.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the Xfinity race. We had Bubba Pollard and the 88 JRM car.
P6.
Fastest in practice. Ends up P6 in the race.
What's he do again? Why is he a name?
He's in the Cars Tour. Right? Yeah, late model.
Okay.
Yep.
Didn't he qualify pretty bad too? And he had to work his way up. Yeah.
So the whole thing with his race is he'd do good on track during the race, but then like pit stops, he'd fall back. He'd lose, 5 spots, and then he'd gain them all back, maybe 1 or 2. Another pit stop, loses them all. And it was just back and forth all day for him. But believe it or not, he's the highest finishing JRM driver this year.
Wow.
With a 6th place finish.
That's
JRM
wild.
Just been off. I said it last year when Sammy Smith was leaving JGR to go to JRM. I was like, I don't know if I love this call for him.
Yeah.
Even last year, JRM was just off.
Yeah.
But no, good showing for him. Pretty good race, honestly. A lot of battles for lead. JGR ended up kind of just owning everybody. And you had Chandler Smith, Almirola. I almost called him a couple other names. And I can't think of the other guy. There was another one up there, but they ended up 1, 2, 3 at one point, and I don't know. Chandler Smith ran a great race, so he gets the W. Good finish for him. But I think the big news that everybody saw on Twitter and everywhere else is Joey Gase throwing his rear bumper cover.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, Cram. What's the kid's name? Something Cram.
I don't know.
And I don't know that whole situation either. Like he hit Gase at the start and finish line and just spun him around, and he hit a ton. Like,
okay, did anyone see a good replay of that? Because
they showed one.
Okay, I must have missed it. But I was about to say, but okay, yeah.
I mean, as good as you can expect for Xfinity back in the pack stuff.
Yeah,
that's true. Although we have to ding Joey Gase. How do you take your gloves off when you're going to go pull a sheet metal off? That's
not sheet metal. It's all composite body now.
Still, I mean, you cut your hand
gloves on for that.
Yeah, I'm keeping my gloves on.
OSHA fine.
Yeah, hey, that was a throw.
And I
did he have his support belt on during that either? I mean, that's probably pretty low. So I don't know.
I have.
So, go ahead, Joe.
I would say I hadn't seen that they shouldn't, but they didn't fine Gase or anything. Which is good. I don't think they should.
That's my question. I know we like it for the excitement, but we aren't that far removed from a guy on a dirt track shaking his fist at Tony Stewart and getting run over and killed. So,
that's true.
I guess just to play a little devil's advocate, I don't know if I really feel one way or the other about it, but I mean, is this the type of thing we want to encourage and not sort of penalize? Like, I don't know.
I mean, under caution, even if he steps in front of that car, I mean, yeah, they're going pretty quick, I guess, but still, I don't.
It was under caution when that kid stepped in front of Tony Stewart and got.
Yeah, killed. But I mean, that's on a sprint car where you gotta gas it up to turn the dang thing. So I mean, I remember that argument whenever they're like, Tony, gas it up before he hit him. He meant to kill him. It's like,
right, yeah. You have a 2013 cell phone in the stands,
Yeah.
filming from across the track with cars driving in front of you, and they're like, "You can hear the car gas up." Oh, really? As the car goes, "Vroom."
Right.
My
Yeah.
favorite was hearing there was somebody on my Facebook at the time who's, "You can hear him downshift."
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Like, oh,
Yeah. Downshifting the sprint car. Right.
Yep,
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what you're talking about.
Right. No, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think. I don't know. We've had this since the dawn of time in NASCAR. Guys stepping near cars under caution, throwing helmets, throwing whatever. I mean,
They get fined though.
So I don't know. Have they historically gotten fined for that? I honestly
I
can't
feel
remember.
like they have. But I don't know. Like,
I mean,
the
if
one
they
that's
have,
sticking
then
out of
fine
my
Joey
mind-
for it. I mean, because this is the same thing, just not a helmet. But I don't know. I don't think it. I'm on team no fine because that's part of the sport. I feel like.
He's a small team. Don't find him money. Find him points or something, and just move on.
Right.
I mean, they parked
Like-
Josh Williams for him parking his car on the track
Yeah.
last year, and it did turn out
But-
good for him. Or did it? He's driving for Kaulig now, and I don't know if that's really a step up. From what it
Yeah.
was.
All
right.
I mean, he paid for the colleague ride, and it's
Yeah.
not paying off.
No.
Right.
No.
But look
Not
at what
yet.
Joey Gase. I think it was Joey Gase. He went out there and started doing shirts right away too. So
Yeah.
maybe
Good
it'll
for
work
him.
out on
Make
that
money
case.
off it.
Yeah.
Yeah, why
Yeah,
not?
I don't know. I guess we'll just see. I don't know if
For
I love
what-
encouraging it, but whatever. I'm here for the drama.
I
enjoy
did
it.
just Google the first result from 2012. NASCAR wrong not to fine Tony Stewart for throwing a helmet. So I guess if they
All right.
have, they've been inconsistent. So at least they didn't at one time. But
All right.
Yeah.
No fine.
All
Rip
right.
body
Before we move
pins
on,
off. Just start throwing them at cars anytime you get wrecked.
before we move on from the Xfinity series, our Xfinity ready driver Haley Deegan, after 6 races, here's her finishes: 37th, 27th, 15th, 33rd, 23rd, 31st.
She just gets caught in other people's stuff.
woof.
Yeah, dude.
By other people's stuff, you mean her own?
I'm
Exactly.
just saying that's what her apologists say.
Yeah.
Her apologist.
Yeah.
The boomers on Facebook.
Yeah,
the guys that subscribe to her Patreon.
No, that's the other one, Decker.
Natalie Decker's OnlyFans.
Oh, Haley Deegan doesn't have one.
I don't think she has one, but I don't know. I did see a post where it was like Haley Deegan getting ready to run Richmond, and you have the comments like, "Oh, she's so beautiful." One of the responses was, "She's not even the hottest one anymore." You got Natalie Decker, then like names off these other ones. This is like, holy shit, that's a bird. Like,
Got a roster.
damn.
Also, we could have just had 2 fantastic transitions. We mentioned boomers. I was going to say, speaking of boomers of the week, and then I mentioned OnlyFans. Because speaking of OnlyFans, but 2 missed opportunity.
missed it.
Guys.
We're not a good
God,
podcast.
Bad
Sorry.
podcasters.
If we were good, we also
Yeah.
would have pointed out JGR's sweet Toyota weekend, but we're not very good.
Yeah.
Well, they did.
boy.
There you
That's,
go. Congrats, JGR.
But
Yeah.
I guess speaking of, Natalie and Haley's a bunch of guys out there got a good fantasy team going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Some kind of
Gosh.
fantasy team.
Yeah.
Ew.
Different kind of
Ew.
fantasy.
Yeah.
All right, before we move on for Richmond, do we feel like Richmond deserves 2 dates?
No.
No.
Never. Not a million years.
Especially after that attendance. That was tough.
I
Yeah,
think
heard it was bad.
classic Richmond, traditional good action track Richmond, hands down deserves 2
Agreed.
dates. This Richmond with this car and the product we're getting, as much
Hell
as I
no.
love Richmond, it's always been one of my favorite tracks. I cannot justify it.
Yep. That's
It's-
where I said too. We have too much, or we have too little horsepower and too much downforce for
Yeah.
any good racing here. Raise
And
the cars
it's a
up.
shame. Like I can't blame Richmond itself. It's
The
still
car.
the same track it was years ago. It's just
Well, there's
our
still
car
that.
has gone away from it.
Dale Jr. is always like, put the sealer back on. And I don't know how all that works, but he's always clamoring for that. But
Well, yeah, I
mean-
saw. Oh, go ahead. I thought you were done. Go
no,
on.
no.
We need
Oh,
to
you
raise
are
the
done?
cars up.
What's
Yeah,
up?
he's done.
Yeah, I'm done.
Well, just to Joe's point about the sealer and Richmond, do they deserve 2 dates? I did see a clip of Junior saying about, I've been telling them to put the sealer on, they won't do it, and I don't know why. And it's like, well, if the other point is if they're not willing to do things they need to do to try to improve the racing, then that says they're not putting in the effort to keep that second date. So
Yeah.
that's the other thing.
But NASCAR's not doing anything. Like, we know the short track package is bad, right? Bristol, we got lucky that we had a bad tire that ended up making things interesting.
Yeah, I
mean, you ask any driver that was there this week, and they said they could not pass. So until we change
you
our
saw it.
package, yeah, you did.
You saw Martin Truex catch Ross Chastain, and he could not get by him. He's a lap down, and I saw a tweet from NASCAR. Oh, the top 4 are within 1.2 seconds of each other. It's because they can't fucking pass nobody.
Yeah.
But I mean, we talked about, and Andrew made this point, and I wanted to rip his face off when he said it, but damn it, I think he's right. NASCAR loves that interval. And if you have high horsepower, you're not going to have that as much. They can say, oh, we're within a second of each other. That's because the 3 cars behind the leader are actually faster, but they can't get by him because because all the dirty air. So I don't know. They've made it pretty clear that they don't want to do horsepower. I don't know what their solution is. I don't know where they're going, but everybody and their brother is screaming, we can add more horsepower to these things tomorrow, and it's not going to change anything on our end. And NASCAR's still like, nah. So I don't know.
So
I don't know how you fix it.
I did see, I think it was either Gluck or Bianchi shared or reposted something. This was the closest finish ever in NASCAR history from first to last.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they shared that. I think I did see that tweet.
Yeah, I don't remember originally, but
last was only like 4 laps down or something like that. Which
3
I don't
laps
know
down.
if is a flex. I don't know if that's a brag.
Yeah, well, it's like you were saying though, like this is what NASCAR wants, is they want all the cars to be equal, right? And they want them all, to have downforce, so there's nothing. It's just a weird thing they want. They think that having the cars close together is a good race, and it's not, right?
Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
You can have equal cars, but create situations where the driver matters, right? So you have equal cars. Say we have this exact same car with 1,000 horsepower and shitty brakes. They're all still exactly the same, but now you're really going to see the driver make a difference. The driver's going to be able to overcome, whatever little arrow thing. You give them tools. I think we were talking about it before. I think we were talking about Bristol, about one of the things you don't see is that the chasing driver having the tools that they used to have to be able to mess with the lead driver, like get under and pack air under the spoiler and get them loose and move them up the track. Like, you can't even get close enough to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's whatever. They're just like you said. I the more I see, the more I think you're right. They just want to be able to say, "Oh, we only have 5 seconds from 1st to 10th. Yay, us!"
Yep, that's what it is. And I mean, so obviously with this car, it's kind of they buy the car, right? So all the cars are pretty much the same. And then now we have a tire that is so hard you can't wear it out. So the driver's taken out of that. We have so much downforce that you can't really make a mistake. And then say on a short track you make a mistake, you just downshift to correct it, right? So there's no opportunity here for anything, right? No passing, nothing. So it's
I think we still got to try these cars on the edge a little bit. I mean, I think there's still a lot of driver skill involved in this. I mean, more than saying F1, which isn't the greatest comparison because that's a very low bar. But I don't know. I mean, I think there's obviously stuff to improve on, but I wouldn't say that driver skills, the driver's completely out of it. Otherwise, we have the same
100%. They're not out of it, but I'm just saying
they're more out of it than they have been in the past, I guess. But
I mean, you say that, but we've had William Byron win 2 races, Denny Hamlin win 2 races. Kyle Larson. Did Kyle Larson win a race? Kyle Larson won a race this year, right?
Yeah, he has.
Okay, we had Kyle Larson win like 20 races in the Gen 6.
Yeah. So what's changed? It still seems like the good guys. Now I think it's going to be interesting to see this year. I wonder when, the first year we had how many different winners? Like 16 or 17 winners throughout the year?
16. Yeah. 16.
And then last year we had less. So I'm interested to see how, you had William Byron had 6 wins last year, which is pretty dominant in this car, we thought. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this year. See if, do we keep shrinking that number of winners now that we've figured this car out? We've had 3 years with it.
You still got the tiered motors. It's not like the cars are all the same. That you still have your A tier, B tier, C tier motors, and affiliates and everything. I mean, so Hendrick's still going to be on top. Gibbs still going to be on top. Penske's still going to be on top. I don't think that the fewer winner. Like, I wouldn't even say we've had fewer winners. Like, I don't think we've had fewer winners. Like, I mean, the statistics could prove me right or prove me wrong. I don't know, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think that.
I think we had 12 last year, and then 16 the year before.
And how many do we have right now?
4 or 5.
4?
I can't remember.
How many races are we? Like 6 or 7?
Yeah,
7. Yeah.
So I mean, we're on pace to have the same amount. Like, I mean, obviously, you're still, a lot of the big hitters have already won, but I mean, I don't think we're far from. I mean, again, I think to y'all's point, we're not far from what we were with the Gen 6, but with them being closer together, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's really. Obviously, there's stuff to get better at, and there's like, I completely agree with the downshifting, the tire compounds, everything. But I mean, Gen 6, we had cars flat out around all the 1.5s. Like, I think that there's still a lot of ways to go, but I don't know. I think that this car's still an improvement. I've liked what I've seen with the equal playing field. It gives some of our guys towards the back of the pack a better chance, but I don't know. Obviously, still a ways to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've flipped. The tracks that were bad in Gen 6 are good now. The tracks that were good with Gen 6 are bad now. It seems like it's just been a complete flip, which I'm not saying is what they wanted, but I think a lot of the focus on this car was improving 1.5s. I think that's why we have the aero done to it and all the different things that are done to it was specifically to address the 1.5s. Unfortunately, what fixes the 1.5s seems to break everything else. So that's sort of where we're at.
Supers have been better. Not saying better than Gen 6, but they've been better so far this year. They've been better.
It seems like, not that I'm saying that this doesn't make it a good race, but I think what makes the speedways better is when they have to fuel save. Like, I think if they don't have to fuel save, it's completely different. I think that's when you get the 2x2 all the way back. But when they have to fuel save, I mean, and not that, like, I mean, I enjoyed Daytona when they were fuel saving and they were 3 wide and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying if they get into a situation where they're not saving fuel, I don't know if we see necessarily 3 wides. Although it pisses me off that I have to admit this. Atlanta has been a fucking banger every like just every race. I hate
how good that race has been.
It is the best super speedway we have, and it's so annoying to admit.
It's so good.
All right. Final thing for the week. Martin Truex had a torque sensor on his rear end this week, and
some sort of
about all
gizmo.
I know.
Yeah. I saw speculation. I put that on the sheet because I saw some people. There seem to be 2 thoughts to it. Either sort of trying to get like a torque curve and power information for a new manufacturer, or looking at power information for the possibility of adding new power. I think the OEM's probably the more realistic thing they're researching. So maybe like trying to find some information for, I don't know, the new engines that they're going to come out, because I think 2025 we're supposed to have new engine packages, isn't that right? Or is it 2026? I can't remember. But we're developing new engine packages. The hybrid's coming. You wait. You wait. I'm telling you, 900 horsepower hybrids.
Yep.
But I don't know.
We'll see.
It's tracking power for some reason, which could be interesting.
Yeah. Well, could come in with Honda. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we also heard about SHR rumored to be selling Chargers in 25.
They were. I'll say this: they were rumored last year to be doing that too. So,
was their Charger deal actually? Was there? Well, I think it's dependent on their Ford deal, right? When their Ford isn't that when their Ford deal runs out? Doesn't it align?
I have no idea on that one.
I'm just saying I could kind of see it. I every time I hear like Tony doesn't seem interested in NASCAR anymore. I feel like you just see him less and less involved in it. And SHR, despite Josh Berry, he seems to be having some good runs, but they still don't really have the performance that you'd expect them to have.
No, I had some good runs this year too.
Are they still a tier 1? Are they still a tier 1 team?
I don't think so. I could be wrong. Like, we saw FRM go up, so yeah.
So are they getting pushed out, which opens up a whole new conversation? I don't know. I do think it's something to watch as we move forward.
Yep. All right, so let's move on. We're gonna go to kill count. Obviously, Bubba gets 1 for taking out Larson, but I did have a question on the Barry Suarez. Suarez blocked Barry. Do we give Barry 1?
Did you give Bell one for Bush last week?
No.
Then I'll say no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep it consistent. Unlike
Similar
NASCAR.
thing. Yeah, I think it's a similar thing. Barry had his line, and got turned across. From what I saw, I only saw one clip of it, so I could be wrong. But
yeah, Suarez went down a good lane and a half, 2 lanes, and just turned across his nose pretty much. So Barry was flying. So I don't know why he blocked that early in the race.
I guess it's Rodney Childress. That's the only thing we can deduct. We thought it was Kevin Harvick was carrying the team. It's got to be Rodney because now Barry's showing some good pace.
I mean, Barry finished second there last year.
Yeah, that's true. He did better than Chase did.
Yeah.
Chase got top 5 this week though, Joe. Joe, do we feel good?
Yeah. All right.
Let's do a Chase Elliott check-in with Joe. How do we
feel? Elliott update.
I'm feeling better. I mean, I think he had top 10 last week, or he was on track for a good finish at COTA before. I think he got a cut-through penalty, was it? Or something like that. And then I think he had a top 10 at Bristol. So I think he's starting to get his feet back under him, and top 5 is good. And he led a couple laps in that first stage, but that was on the wet tires. But we'll still take it. So I'm still not panic button quite yet. But
call your shot. Where's he get his first win this year?
Ooh.
Second question: does he get a win this year?
Second question: yes. First win. Oh gosh.
How many?
I say his first win is at. Let's go with Darlington. Yeah, Darlington. And he gets 3.
Okay.
Darlington he gets 3.
Okay.
Yeah, Darlington 1 or 2.
Yeah,
Darlington 1, and he gets 3.
Joe just wants to.
So,
3. He's going to be there for this first win of the season.
Yeah.
Are we going, Joe? Are we going this year? We need to go this year.
I need to
need to look at the
put in for our media passes. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. You guys didn't put in for Martinsville, did you?
I can't do Martinsville.
You do Martinsville either.
Okay.
Plus, I don't know.
Well,
Martinsville. So.
Really? Okay.
It's been kind
I think if you're going to get in one, the spring one's probably the one you're going to get in. Nobody probably wants to go to that one for the same reasons you don't want to go to it. But the playoff race, everybody wants to go to it.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the hard one to get to.
Yeah, I'm not. I can't go anyway. So
I'm in for Kansas and Chicago right now, and Iowa's not open yet. So
Chicago would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Event.
Get access to all the bands too.
Ooh.
So, yeah. Sweet. Nice.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, on that one, that'd be kind of cool. Gateway. I looked at their thing. I don't think I can get Gateway, but yeah, hopefully Iowa. Already got a hotel planned. So yeah,
I forget we're going there,
dude. I'm excited. Like I really hope I get media passes because I can't get tickets, and I'm not gonna buy them secondhand because of these stupid price. But all right, let's go to Boomer of the Week. I just picked one because there were so many this week, but here's the one we got. That's NASCAR. They gave Joe Gibbs, spelled Gibs, and Rick Hendrick, Hendric, every break that they need. Yeah. So that's obviously the whole
playing favoritism to 8 cars in the field.
Yeah.
To a quarter of the field, they have favoritism. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I know Austin and I both saw one where somebody said that Bubba grabbed Kyle Larson after the race or something like that. And it was
Bubba coming up and apologizing, taking full responsibility for the incident. Kyle obviously being very receptive to that apology. And still people are far more mad than Kyle ever was about, maybe like not when he first got turned, but way more mad than Kyle was after the incident in the comments. And like, Bubba needs to apologize it was, what I saw was like, Bubba needs to apologize to Martin Truex for bringing out that caution. I was like, no, he does not. Like, what? Yeah. He's going to apologize to the whole field? Like, it's just ridiculous the lengths people will go through to continue the hate for drivers. And it's not, it's maybe elevated for Bubba fans, Bubba haters. I don't know, but like, I'm sure it happens with every driver, but it's just hilarious to see.
I saw a bunch of them saying that Bubba brought it out on purpose so Denny could win. It was like, yeah, because he knows that Denny's pit crew is going to get him out first and all this other things. Like, come on.
He saw it.
Like-
NASCAR told him. NASCAR
Yeah.
told, hey, Bubba, turn Kyle Larson, and we're going to force Denny to get a quick pit stop. We're going to give his pit crew crack cocaine before the damn pit stop. So that way they go extra fast.
That's right.
So you go ahead and turn him now. It's all a big plan. Big NASCAR.
Yep. But
Stupid.
so that's the one I picked. There were so many this week. Like I
So
couldn't
many.
even decide.
So many
but-
every week. So many every day.
Anytime
It is.
Bubba and Larson
Well-
get into it, there's just gold out there.
So good.
But that's the thing, though. Every week, like most of them are just Bubba and Denny things, and it's.
Mhm.
I heard somebody a long time ago say the right can't meme.
Oh, yeah. The left
The
can't
people that
either.
hate Bubba and Denny cannot meme at all. Like it is so bad. Like it's not funny. They're like Blubber Wallace. Like
Yeah. Ooh,
you got him.
Fucking
Yeah.
got him.
Good
It's
one,
like,
bro.
Jesus Christ.
So stupid, bro.
Yeah, but
Fucking
Alright,
got him.
let's move on to Survivor since Joe's not here.
Go to bed.
Yeah, I guess he did. All
Zach
right,
got a one this week.
Survivor. I'm excited to talk about this week.
Stole a
All right,
win.
on to betting. Let's just move on. Do we even need to do Survivor this year? I think we're good, actually.
Yeah,
That-
I think we just
No, we have
cut
to
it
do it.
out. No, I think we
Alright.
just cut it out this year. I think we're done.
All right, I'm
We
giving
just running
myself
scores.
100 bonus points, and we can call it.
Let's just not even talk about the scores or anything. Let's
Yeah.
just gotta move on.
All right, so obviously I did pretty well. I picked Denny Hamlin, who cheated his way to a win. We'll take it. And let's see,
I had
Andrew
Truex.
second with Truex, like you said, yeah. You got a
thanks.
P4, and then Joseph had old Chris Buescher, who got 9th, and then Drake, who picked Ryan Preece. What even does that guy do? Finishing 28th.
Gets 28th. That's what he does.
The short track guy.
I'm getting my bad picks out of the way. All right. Get him out early.
Hopefully Joe's getting his good picks out of the way because he's still stomping us. He's up 26. To me, I'm in second at 19. So Joe is just pulling away.
Here's actually what I did. I intentionally chose poorly last week so I could get first pick this week
That's
and
a great
pick
plan.
Martin Truex Jr. So
Martin Truex Jr. Nice.
Give me on a
Martinsville,
mission.
baby.
Who you got, Joseph?
I have Ross Chastain.
Looking to ride that wall. The Hail Melon.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go with Chase Briscoe,
Chase Briscoe.
the fast
I can't-
chase.
I can't believe you guys didn't pick a Hendrick driver because it's obviously in the script. It's Hendrick's 40th anniversary. They're bringing those red cars.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be Chase. God damn it!
Yeah,
They're
but-
bringing them red cars.
It's got to be
The o-
Chase Elliott.
The only question, it's not a question of if Hendrick's winning, it's which Hendrick driver is winning. That's a little bit harder to pick. I'm just going based off of who I think has more speed consistently and going with Kyle Larson. It was tough. I wanted to go. I didn't know if I wanted Byron or Larson, but
I mean, Byron won last year, but
he
yeah,
did win last year. But what did he do last fall?
yeah.
It was real bad.
I
So
don't
I
know.
don't know. I just think Larson's just that much better than Byron right now on speed. He's been making more mistakes, but I think on speed, Larson just barely has him. Either way, them two are clearly first and second at Hendrick right now.
Yeah, mine's a throwaway pick. I mean, Ford's just off right now. Toyota's top in my mind. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. You know who's going to win this race? Whoever qualifies first. That's
gonna be
what I
Hendrick.
see.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's how it's going
I'm
to
telling
be.
you, Hendrick's sweeping Martinsville. You better believe it.
Yeah.
I hope
They're
so.
getting this race and they're getting fall.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's in the script.
All right.
Clip it.
Way more importantly, we didn't do our bourbon segment of the night tonight. So I
Mm.
feel like
What are
it's
you guys
most
sipping on?
important. Felt like an Elijah Craig night for me. So I actually just finished a Elijah Craig private barrel pick from I think it was
Ooh.
Charlotte Bourbon Society. So pretty tasty, pretty hot, but tasty.
I have barrel aged water in my Ragged Ranch distillery cup.
Wow.
Yeah, no bourbon tonight for you, boy.
I got
The good
some
stuff.
also.
Wow. Zach?
I have refrigerator water.
Cool. So I'm an alcoholic. All right, cool. Next segment.
Yes,
Drinking the
you
problem. If you
I
have, a
have an
drinking
issue.
problem,
All
please reach out to your local.
We'll put a number on the screen right now for anyone else
Uh,
struggling.
okay, so we had an OnlyFans last week. We didn't get to it because we went really long last week.
Oh yeah.
So Ryan asked us, "What are your thoughts on attending a race alone?"
Thanks, Ryan Blaney, for sending in this question. Known
I
listener.
really appreciate it.
Known listener of the podcast.
I don't think I've ever gone to a race alone. I can't think of when I would have.
I don't think I have, but I'm not. I would do it. I mean, honestly, it sounds kind of fun. Like, if you can't find anyone to go, if you don't have anyone in your town who's into NASCAR and can't convince anyone to come drink for free all day, I think that it's a great. Sorry, alcoholism coming up again. Sorry for cussing.
We all got our hobbies.
Yeah, I literally said that to someone today because I got done working out, and some of my coworkers were there. I'm like, I'm gonna walk down to the ABC. Some stores got some good bourbon shops today, and they're like, "Oh, you looking for some bourbon?" It's like, yeah, some people call it alcoholism. I call it a hobby. So
it's true.
Anyway, I mean, I think it'd be kind of fun. Like, I like going with friends who aren't fans, but sometimes it's kind of hard to be like. Sometimes I'm almost looking at them like, are y'all having fun? Like, are y'all enjoying this? Are y'all having a good time?
Yeah.
I'm having a great time, but like, I feel like y'all are bored because you don't really know what's going on. So if I couldn't find someone like, it's great to have Joe, like obviously as a good friend, because we are both big NASCAR fans and both live in the same city. So we can go to races together. But if there's a weekend where like Joe couldn't go and like Lindsay couldn't go or whatever, like I'd probably still go just because it's the one of 2 times a year it comes to my city. So, like I'm not going to miss the opportunity. And then you just kind of get to enjoy it on your own and have some beers if you are, if you want to partake or whatever, just kind of chill, have a day in the sun. I don't hate it. I like that idea.
Yeah. I think it's just like going to a concert solo. Like obviously it's fun to go with a group of people, but I've gone to a couple solo concerts and it was great. Right. Obviously you got to not drink a ton because you're probably driving, but I mean, I have never gone to a race solo. I don't plan to, but yeah.
Zach, what are your thoughts?
I wouldn't do it. I'm too introverted to do it.
I'll just watch it on TV.
Wait, you wouldn't do it because you're too introverted?
Yeah, isn't that the one where you don't like to talk to people and you're
but like wouldn't you like to go by
That'd be
yourself
perfect then.
Yeah. No, I like to go with my own group.
You don't have to
I like
talk.
to go to my own group. I have my select group of people that I like to go and do things with.
Right.
I don't want to go out and do things by myself. I feel like if I'm out there, like I don't know, just some guy standing around just looking at stuff. Like, I don't know. Like I feel like you're there at the social
like a Fox
event,
producer.
Talk to people. Right. Like I don't know, man. I got a beard and a hoodie, look kind of weird. Like who's this guy? I don't know. I just rather go with friends.
Would you answer first, Andrew? Then I kind of have
all right. So, I mean, I'd do it. Like I feel like it's like going to a football game or something like that. You got a tailgate, right? And you're gonna walk around. You're gonna be like, oh, there's a Tyler Reddick fan. Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh,
it's
whatever
thing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm an introvert, but believe me, like, just shoot the shit, right? Yeah. And I feel like you can just either meet people there. There's going to be people around you. There's going to be annoying Chase fans that nobody can stand.
Hey,
Chase Briscoe. He's talking about Chase Briscoe. Jeez.
Chase Briscoe. Yeah, Chase Briscoe fans.
All 2 of his fans he's got. But
shout out, Brandon.
Yeah, it's. There's one.
Shout out, Brandon.
Have the Chase Briscoe fan bases in our Discord.
Yeah. But I see no problem with it. I've actually kind of thought about this for like the media credentials. Like if there's a race I can go to and nobody, the girlfriend can't go or whatever, it's just me. Would I go? Yeah, I'd go. It'd be weird just walking around, whatever. But it's I like NASCAR. I like racing. I'll go.
Race.
Have you ever gone? Here's my follow-up question: have you ever gone to a bar or a restaurant by yourself?
No.
Restaurant, yes. Bar, no.
Yeah, restaurant, yes. Bar, no for me too. But
really never.
Well, I don't think I have. I mean, it's like if I'm gonna drink, I'm just got enough here. Like
I want to pass out in my own bathroom, guys.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm gonna piss on the floor, it's gonna be my own damn floor. All right. No, but I mean, like I love a good solo restaurant experience. Like I don't know, it's just like it's freeing. Like obviously you have the fear of like, oh, are people gonna look at me and think I'm weird? Like you were saying, Zach, for the race, but it's like once you kind of like whatever, dude. Like they're gonna think what they think. It's like it's kind of a fun experience. I remember I would go. Not super consistently, but every now and then I go to this restaurant in like a sandwich shop in Charlotte, and I would just sit at like the bar and like order and just like talk to like the server who's like behind the bar or whatever. Like it's a great time. Like I loved it. It was a fun time.
Mhm.
And I like it got like I'd walk in, it'd be the same waitress. You're like, you want the usual? I'm like, yeah. And I was like, it's so fun. It's like, oh, I got a usual. But you know what I mean? Like you don't get that going with a group. So I don't know. It's kind of it's a freeing kind of experience that like you really have to be in the right mindset for. But I mean, I think it's fun. So I could see the same thing with a race. It's like, you know what? Like I want to do this. No one else I know wants to do this. So I'm just gonna go and do it. Like screw it. Like there's something freeing about that. So all that to say, I think there's nothing wrong with going to a race by yourself. You know, more power to you if that's something you want to do, you know?
Yeah. I've gone to the bar by myself just because like I work second shift. You get off. What are you gonna do? Like, there's nothing to do. You're gonna go to the bar and drink.
Yeah,
right? So
exactly.
I've gone to the bar by myself.
Yeah. Fellow alcoholic.
No
All right,
shame.
let's go.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do when you get off second shift? Oh, I don't know. Go home, go to sleep. You can wake up and see your family. Nah, fuck that.
Drink
Why not?
alcohol.
Get hammered.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm not getting blackout drunk, but I'm just saying, like, go, like, socialize a little bit, have a drink. Like,
I mean,
Austin said, you know, talk to the bartender or whatever.
I mean, I went
Just shoot
to.
the
I
shit.
mean,
Watch
it was
whatever
kind-
sports on.
Yeah, it's a little different, but I was going home from, I think it was from work the other day, and like I went to swung by Ed's Tavern. Joe knows Ed's.
Nice. Yep.
To grab food for me and Lindsay, so I put a to-go order in, and then I ordered a beer while I'm sitting there waiting. I'm like, it's just fun. Like I don't know, it's just something about it. There's like two other guys there also by themselves. I'm like, hell yeah, this is it. Guys being dudes, sitting by themselves at the bar drinking beer.
Yep.
Great time.
Killing livers.
Killing livers.
Oh yeah.
Love it. Great
right.
question. Great question though, Ryan Blaney. Thank you.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Come on the
question.
podcast anytime.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Austin, you mentioned betting. You got anything?
I have
you
not
looked
even
at
looked
it
at
at
the lines. So if you have anything, you go ahead and then I'll give a peek.
There's only like one, maybe two things. So right now, Chevy is actually the least likely to win,
Really?
apparently, at plus
I think
210.
Lars.
So I don't mind that line. And then, honestly, just because Zach was mentioning, you know, the whole Hendrick thing, Chase Elliott plus 1,800.
I'll sprinkle that.
Bowman
Of course I
plus
will.
2,800. Bowman's running pretty well lately.
Bowman would be a sneaky one. He's been pretty.
Yeah.
He's low key been really good.
Bowman will probably be on my long shot. What's his top 10? Nah. Plus 100. Nah.
Yeah, no.
So, yeah. That's all I got just on a quick glance. I haven't really
Put some
seen
money on
anything else.
Ross since Joe picked him for Survivor this week.
Yeah.
I need to win a bet. I've 0 for my last like 10. So
Yeah. Like I said, my bets just went to shit this week and it was bad, but it is what it is. How about Martinsville? We got any just thoughts on it? Just gonna be the same old
Hopefully
short track,
it's not horrible.
same tires last as the spring race or
Bring the
fall race.
Bristol tire.
yeah, put the
Yeah.
Bristol tire on and you'll get a good race, but they won't.
Heard the
so.
weather's supposed to be shit.
No, I just
So-
looked in. I
saw
just
Bob
looked
in-
said it all looked good.
I heard
Oh.
cold.
Let me
Cool.
check right now.
I mean, the theory is that's what made the Bristol tire go to shit. So
Sunday at Martinsville
Hopefully.
is 5% chance of rain, high 65, low 41, mostly sunny.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
no
you're
rain,
right.
but maybe a little crisp.
6
the end
on
of the race.
Saturday. Yeah. No rain. Yeah, you're right. I'm wrong. I just heard that, but
did you guys see that Jonathan Hunter Nemechek car? He's got Skip Barber paint schemes to run at Martinsville. This thing looks.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's nice.
Oh, that's sick.
yep. Hell yeah. All right.
But yeah,
Cool.
I don't know. I think Martinsville, you just got to go into it the same thing as Richmond. You know, unfortunately, these short tracks are just killed. So kind of expect meh, and hopefully we get something.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll see.
The schedule, man. That's all I'm gonna say. Like super speedway, then mile and a half, short track, road course, short track. Like
Yeah, it's a weird.
I'm
mix
giving them a little
there.
grace this year just because we got the Olympics, so I'm sure that's
Yeah.
fucking a lot of stuff up. But
Yeah,
hopefully
sure.
next year, I agree. I think you gotta like switch it up, break it up a little bit.
I I'm honestly excited for next year's schedule because I think it's going to be. I think Road America gets added on. I think you're going to see a surprise track in there, like maybe Chicagoland or Rockingham, something like that. And
Do
I
they
think
add
Richmond.
Chicagoland and still have the street course?
No.
No.
You think okay? So you think street course is dead?
Yep. Yeah, that's
Well,
why I'm kind of like. Hopefully, I get passes for it.
Well,
Yeah.
and it does sound like we were talking about Richmond deserving a second date. I don't think we said it, but
Jordan
several
was
people-
saying, yeah.
Yeah, Jordan said it. I think Junior reiterated. It seems like Richmond's losing a date next year
Good.
from top sources. That's not good, Joe, because that means short tracks suck, which isn't what we're
I
doing.
know.
Short tracks would be good. But
We just need a better package.
I've
Zach said
said it.
Richmond used to be great.
I'll give
It
you
did.
a better package.
I was waiting for
Ooh.
somebody to say it.
Ew.
I wasn't going to do it. I was hoping it was going to be
Sorry
Joe.
for Yeah, got it.
But,
I always
I
got
mean,
you on this.
I've said before that we got to chase where the good racing is. So right now, the good racing simply isn't short tracks, unfortunately.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. Until next week. See ya.
Bye, guys.
Later.
Where's the outro? I don't know where the outro's at.
Where's
I
the
don't know.
outro?
Every week. Every goddamn week. Shit.
I love you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Green White Checker Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. For more from the boys and the podcast, be sure to follow us on Twitter at the GWC Pod for the podcast, at Biggles TV for Zach, at ShakenDrake_TTV for Austin, at Picks by Fitz for Andrew, and at J_Sully10 for Joe. Head over to thegwcpod.com to submit a question for our OnlyFans segment. Thanks again for listening, and we hope to catch you again next episode.
Football season may be over, but for frequency's sake still has you covered for all your sporting needs. Tune in every Sunday when the best professional wrestling podcast around, Cards Subject to Change, gets you caught up on everything inside the ropes. They won't miss a count with weekly analysis and interviews. More into auto racing? We've got a double dose for you on the track. Tune in to Fast Money with Rod Villagomez each week and win some money with the quickest bets in all of sports. Want more insight from Pit Row? Check out the Green, White, and Checkered podcast where they give their insight on everything happening on and off the track. Need your basketball fix? Points in the Paint has you covered with live shows every other week looking at everything in the association. Backed by popular demand, we have the return of The Payoff Pitch, FFSQC's baseball show, covering you on news around the MLB. If you're missing football, don't fret. Mark and Dan still have you covered in the football lounge. Missing Joe Winkle? Probably not, but he's still here talking sports on Educated Ignorance. Football season might be over, but we've still got you covered. For frequency's sake, you know what we mean.
For